In 2010, a man got lost in the woods of northern Saskatchewan and chopped down power lines just to draw attention to himself, in hopes that someone would rescue him. It worked. The longest that anyone has ever survived in a shipwrecked raft was 133 days by a Chinese man named Poon Lim in 1942. He survived by fishing, drinking bird blood, and even killing a shark with a jug of water. He lived to the age of 72, dying in 1991. There are miniature wolves in the Middle East that only reach about 30 pounds 6 kg. In comparison, the largest wolves in the world found in Canada, Russia, and Alaska can reach up to 175 pounds 80 kg. There are currently 1.6 billion live websites on the web right now. However, 99% of these sites you cannot access through Google and is known as the deep web. The human brain has a negativity bias, causing us to continually look for bad news. It's an evolutionary trait that stemmed from early humans as a survival mechanism. In 2013, a man named Harrison Hawking survived for 3 days at the bottom of the ocean in a sunken ship by finding a pocket of air. Xylography is the art of engraving on wood. The average Boeing 747 plane has 160 miles to 6 km of wiring inside of it. There are more living organisms in a teaspoon of soil than there are humans in the world. The longest prison sentence was 320,000 years to a man named Gabriel Grandos for failing to deliver over 70,000 letters. In Mexico, artists like painters, sculptors, and graphic artists can pay their taxes by donating pieces of artwork that they create to the government. The length of human vessels in the body equate to 60,000 miles 96 km if you lay them out from beginning to end. Camels have 3 eyelids that protects them from the rough winds and deserts. There are roses that exist that are all black but can only be found in Hafidi, Turkey. Scientists have discovered a planet using the Hubble telescope, a deep azure blue planet 63 light-years away that rains glass sideways. The World Health Organization states that from the 1 billion smokers in the world, more than 600,000 people die every year from secondhand smoke. By land mass, Canada is only 2% smaller than Europe. A baby octopus can be as small as your fingertip. When the elephant whisperer Lawrence Anthony died in March of 2012, an entire herd of elephants arrived at his home to mourn him. The whole country of England is smaller than the state of Florida by over 10,000 square miles 26,000 square km. Cow's methane creates just as much pollution as cars do. There is an island shaped like a heart in Fiji called Tavarua. The Savannah is the largest domestic breed of cat which resembles a small leopard but behaves like a dog. They can grow up to 40 pounds 18 kg, have a 8-foot vertical jump and be trained to walk on a leash and play fetch. There's a building in London called the Walkie-Talkie Building that's shaped in such a way that it reflects sunlight like a giant magnifying glass, literally melting cars on the street below. The Lihilidu Wildlife Zoo in Chongqing, China, put the people visiting the zoo in cages instead of the animals. The cages are stocked by lions and tigers, so the guests are warned to keep their fingers and hands inside the cage at all times. Believe it or not, you consume 1/10 of a calorie by licking a US stamp. But if you were to lick a stamp in Britain, it's 5.9 calories per lick, and the adhesive on a larger commemorative or special British stamp contains a whopping 14.5 calories. A study conducted in 2013 by the BBC found that 56% of pilots fell asleep while flying and 29% had woken up to find that the co-pilot was also asleep. High school student Hayden Godfrey started working several jobs, saved his money for a year and a half, and eventually bought a flower for each of the 830 for girls at this school, simply because he wanted them to feel joy. Most of the predictions made by Nostradamus are false. They were riddled with a number of errors. He did not predict his own death correctly, as it was his secretary who edited it after his death. Amelia Dyer is one of the most prolific serial killers in history. She is estimated to have killed 200 children. A 2004 study of 43 fruits and vegetables found that their nutritional value has decreased significantly over the past 50 years. The jump you sometimes get while falling asleep is known as hypnic myoclonus, and as much as 70% of people worldwide experience this. In 2005, Swedish millionaire Johan Eliash purchased a 4,000-acre plot of land in the Amazon rainforest from a logging company for the sole purpose of its preservation. Kellogg's was anti-sex, and corn flakes were invented as part of an anti-masturbation crusade. A nickname was originally an nickname, literally meaning additional name. Over the years, the word was misdivided into a nickname. In the 10th century lived a Syrian poet named al-Mari who was attacking dogmas of religion and rejecting Islamic or any other religion claims and could freely express his opinions in Arabic lands without fear of his life. In 2013, almost 1,000 years after his death, a jihadist group beheaded his statue. There exists a treatment for cystic fibrosis that involves actually inhaling genes to attempt to repair the disease. George Foreman named all 5 of his sons George Foreman. German monks living off nothing but beer during Lent felt guilty because it tasted so good. So they brought the beer to Rome for the Pope's approval of the practice. During the journey, it went bad. Pope tasted it and he hated it. Monks were allowed to have it for Lent. Bill Nye, the science guy, only has a bachelor's degree in science, but has been awarded 3 honorary doctorate degrees. Years ago, Hulk Hogan missed a call from his agent to sponsor a new indoor grill, who then gave it to George Foreman, who was also his client. George Foreman earned nearly $500 million in marketing the grill. In 2008, after becoming fed up with people uploading their videos to YouTube, Monty Python started their own channel, uploading HQ versions of their most popular sketches. This move resulted in a 23,000% increase in their DVD sales. George Washington's infamous wooden teeth were actually human teeth from slaves. More than 2,500 of the 3,250 crosswalk buttons in New York City function essentially as mechanical placebos. They haven't worked since the late 1980s. There is a nocebo effect, a negative variant of the placebo effect. It can make someone physically suffer from side effects that don't exist. 37 years before Pearl Harbor, Japan launched a surprise attack on Russia, destroying much of the Russian fleet at Port Arthur. U.S. officials applauded the attack for its ingenuity. During World War II, captured German officers who were sent to Britain as Poes lived in luxury in Trent Park. This was done to make them feel relaxed. However, their conversation was being heard to by over 100 listeners. They revealed secrets about the Holocaust, events in Berlin, Hitler's madness, and V2 rocket bases. 70% of the land in England is still owned by 1% of the population, largely descended from William the Conqueror's army. The Scottish army tried to take advantage of the Black Plague in England through an invasion, but caught it themselves and brought it back to Scotland, killing half of the native population. Each year there are about 300,000 brain concussions that occur during sports activities. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency seized 9.3 million ecstasy pills in 2000, up from 400,000 in 1997. The iris, the colored part of your eye, gets its name from the Greek word meaning rainbow. In Greek mythology, the goddess of the rainbow is named Iris. Eagles have more than 1 million photoreceptors per square millimeter in their retinas. Humans have 200,000 photoreceptors per square millimeter. In the USA, more than 80% of adults consume caffeine on a daily basis. Humans can detect 1 molecule of green pepper smell when it is mixed in the air with 3 trillion other molecules.